Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, parents living in my home for the last 5 years is over. My dad made me spend my own money on groceries. For around 20 minutes, a toddler was hitting the tip of their fork against their plate at a sit-down restaurant. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Parents living in my home for the last 5 years is over. I am a 100% permanently disabled U.S. Army vet. My parents have been living with me in my Alaskan home for the last 5 years. They've paid me nothing for rent during all this time. Not even for electricity. And my mother makes over $140,000 a year. I have included a few recordings of the things they've said. I was complaining to my dad I can't afford organic food that he wants to eat cause I need to buy food everyone can eat. But I hate the food they buy. I said poor people can't afford organic food at 1628. My dad says what are poor people spending their money on? I said I'm paying my home and electricity and I can't afford expensive food. My mom had me trade in my cheap $250 per MO car for a brand new Jeep Gladiator. She said you absolutely need it here in Alaska and they have their own Gladiator. She had me pay $600 per MO for the last 2 years to her while she was driving it to work every day. I've only been able to drive it 3 times in 2023 so far because they've been hiding the keys. I told my dad I don't even have keys to my own house. He said I have a spare outside I can use, it's in one of the recordings somewhere. I found out I was a co-signer, not the borrower on the Jeep too. I have no legal right to the vehicle. And it has disabled veteran license plates. My mom refuses to tell me the bank the loan's through so I can request a co-signer removal. In 2020 I had a falling out with them. I wanted them to move out badly. I didn't know how to legally remove them, so I threw all their belongings in the trash while they both were gone on a business trip. They called the cops on me and I was jailed. The charges were dropped, but I refused to move back into the house with them. My mother successfully got a power of attorney over my finances even though I had a VA fiduciary. I had a nervous breakdown from all the manipulation they've been doing to me and felt trapped like I couldn't escape my own home. I was homeless for a few months and never received an apology. Nothing. I moved back with them after a few months being homeless, losing my backpack and wallet. Everything I had. Had to call them to mail me my passport and a plane ticket back home. This year my mother made me split a $2,500 plane ticket for her mom to come visit and buy new couches for the living room. All this is documented. When I first moved into my house with them, my dad asked me to request money from my fiduciary to buy firewood for the wood stove. After I received about $900, he said he needed it to buy metal to build his own trailer and that we can cut our own firewood to save money. Since they've lived here with me since 2018, they have bought new in cash, 2 snowmobiles, 4-wheeler, side-by-side and 3 military Humvees. Totaling around $70,000. All this is in the recordings as proof. I'm hiring an attorney to evict them. I found a free one in Alaska that helps disabled veterans. I'll keep you guys posted. Here are some other recordings of their bullshit. Only driven Jeep I was paying for 2 times in 2023. Want me to sell my home and move north? My dad saying look for the benefit of others. They want to buy another snowmobile. I'm stopping to pay the Jeep they said was mine. I have no friends. Hopefully a miracle happens and I can get my life back on track. Edit, I did contact ALSC Law in Alaska and left a message detailing all this. Just waiting for a call back to see if I qualify. Edit 2, they do pay for my cell phone bill. They also asked me to put my homeowner's insurance on their insurance policy, which I did so they save money, I still pay. Edit 3, my home is 800 square feet. They have the master bedroom. I live in a 6 by 10 room. And they have 5 dogs. They feed them ground beef, fresh potatoes, salmon, and chicken from Costco. I'll figure out how to document this. I had a cat, but he died a year ago when they refused letting me have another cat cause their dogs would attack it like they've done in the past. One of their dogs bit me in the face couple years ago when I was playing with it. Drawing blood. Edit 4. After I came back from being homeless, I offered them a renter's agreement to live in my home for $1,200 a month, and if I sell the home they get 50% of the net profit. They refused. I recorded them with me saying I'm sorry for giving them the renter's agreement, thinking that the 50% was reasonable. Asking if they threw it away. They said they didn't have it anymore and accepted my apology. Verifying that I did offer that to them. Edit 5. Yesterday, December 18th, I filled a revocation of power of attorney myself. One more step in the right direction. Edit 6. December 19th, 6:53 a.m. I just submitted all this to APS in Alaska. Thank you for telling me about them. I will be leaving my home to the VA clinic tomorrow night if I don't hear from APS today. Dude, you need to speak with a lawyer ASAP. Your parents are taking advantage of you financially and abusing you in your own home. Pretty sure the VA has some support services that can help veterans with recommendations or referrals to legal aid. Call APS, they are abusing you. I'm not familiar with APS. I'll look into it. Thank you. Please visit your nearest VA hospital or check them out online. They have so many resources that can totally help you with everything you need. Friend, I know you will get your life back on track once this hell is over, and I'm sorry your parents are a-holes. My dad made me spend my own money on groceries. Hi. I'm a lurker of this subreddit, but I've never really had anything entitled parents worthy until now. So I was chilling, doing schoolwork and watching anime, and my dad asked me if I could walk to the store and buy some groceries for him. Even though he was just sitting on the couch watching football, he could have done it himself. It's not a massive bother for me, as the store is only a mile away and I wanted to go for a walk anyways. I walked to the store and bought the groceries myself. The total was around $50. I paid in cash, thinking he would pay me back when I got home. Well, I got home and asked him to pay me back the cash that I spent at the store. He said, and I quote, "If you want the money back, do more chores around the house." I got pretty mad and started demanding the money that I spent on groceries that only he would use. He told me that he would give me $5 for walking a mile to the store and back with 10 pounds of groceries. I told him that he was out of his mind. Well, one thing led to another, and now I'm not allowed to use the PS5 for a month. I'm beyond pissed at this entire situation. You should have just told him, I will remember this, so the next time you want me to get groceries, either you give me the money up front, or I don't go. And then Dad goes, cool beans. No more allowance. My mother did this to me. She stole my money regularly by keeping herself on my bank account. I was under 18, and wouldn't let me see the balance. Eventually I got her off it, and after years of working I only had $100 to my name. Anyway, I had some birthday money and got the same story to go to the store, and she didn't pay me back. Eventually, it devolved into me stealing little bits of cash from my stepdad and going to the store and keeping non-perishable foods stashed away, such as ramen, soups, etc., so I could have some food when I was hungry beyond the 2 meals a day I was allowed to have. My point is, do what you need to do for you. He is showing his colors. Unless it puts you in harm's way, never go to the store for him again. Just keep the groceries for yourself. If he asks about them, tell him to go to the store himself. You don't need to be rude about it or disrespectful, but you owe him nothing. Yikes. I would have strongly considered walking those groceries back for a refund. That's not okay behavior for a parent. For around 20 minutes, a toddler was hitting the tip of their fork against their plate at a sit-down restaurant. The toddler wasn't simply learning how to use utensils. He wasn't trying to eat the food. He was essentially stabbing his plate with the fork over and over and over and over. The sound irked me in a similar way to nails on a chalkboard. Sometimes he'd stop for a couple of minutes and I'd relax a bit, but then he'd start again. This actually triggered a pretty bad headache for my friend. The mom did not care whatsoever. Someone at my table politely asked if someone could take the fork away from the toddler, and she said that he'd cry if she took it away. We then overheard her talking about how ridiculous some people were about children in public spaces. Now, this wasn't an extremely quiet and expensive restaurant, but it was still a sit-down restaurant, not McDonald's or a super loud place. The biggest mystery to me is how the noise didn't hurt any of the moms at the other table. It was a group of 3 moms and their kids. Also, the other kids at the table were loud and misbehaving too, but they didn't bother us. Reminds me one time me and my husband were going to eat in a restaurant/street food place. As we put a foot in, and we see a toddler banging her little hands on a metal table, and all you could hear inside the place was bang bang bang. The mom and dad seemed totally okay with the toddler basically drumming everyone's ears in the restaurant. Me and husband saw each other and noped out. Like, yeah, sorry, but we are not going to bear that annoying sound while eating there. My guess is that parents get so used to those sounds at home that they forget that most people aren't used to / don't want to hear that in public. I understand that kids will do things like that, I don't blame the kids. But the parents should try to make them stop. I'm getting a headache just thinking about the sound. I can't imagine what it was actually like being there. It wasn't insanely loud, but we could clear hear it, and it sent shivers down your spine. Years ago, I was in a restaurant where a toddler was running around in a loop and vocalizing at one part of it. Almost tripped a waiter carrying a heavy tray. The toddler went right by our table on every circuit. I was tempted to trip the child. Tempted for a good 15 minutes. I didn't. Y'all should have flagged the staff and asked them to address the situation. Parents don't care, and the restaurant won't either unless they know it is interfering with other customers' experience. I had a similar experience the other day where kids were singing in unison, throwing things on the floor, and literally climbing on the privacy partitions between tables. I wanted to say something and my soul was completely unbothered by it. It made me question our compatibility, lol. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.